Welcome to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bry Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bry Raven, 29-year veteran of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games as a writer, illustrator, and editor. And today is what did you get this week and crowdfunding talk. We got a lot of stuff to cover. First, as you can see, I got a nice new shirt, Nevermore. I got this on $6shirts.com. So check that out if you get a chance. But we got some questions this week, so let's get to those first. And our first question, multiple parties asked me what happened to all my programming this week. Usually I have a lot of programming throughout the week, and unfortunately this week was just kind of a screwed up mess. Broke my phone, spent a wasted day trying to get a replacement for that. Had some other issues, family-wise, that had to get taken care of. And then, of course, this week, last week, Diamond's servers were hacked. And that meant that all the books for shipping this week were delayed. So I didn't really get that much in the mail, so that kind of delayed. Or not in the mail, but in the comic shop didn't get anything. So I was like, well, do I have anything to talk about for what do you get this week? And the answer is not much. So I figured why do it a quick 5-10 minute video when I can merge them into one. So that's basically why we got only one episode this week compared to the usual 3 or 4. Multiple parties have asked, have you seen the announcement that Disney released about Phase 4, Marvel Phase 4, with them bringing back the 90s X-Men cartoon with X-Men 97 or 1997 and Moon Knight, among other things. What are your thoughts? I hate to be indifferent, but that's how I feel about it, really. I was never really a fan of the 90s X-Men cartoon from Saban. There was nothing wrong with it, per se. They did a nice job of adapting a lot of classic X-Men storylines from the comics. But I always preferred the animation style that was done for Pride of the X-Men in '89 over the Saban animation style. So, that's kind of... I just never could get into the cartoon. And it didn't help that the cartoon came out right around the time I was finishing up my run reading X-Men because Claremont was fired off the book. So those two factors just left me disinterested in X-Men in the 90s, to be honest. Moon Knight, kind of the same thing. I liked the 80s stuff, maybe the late 80s stuff that Denny O'Neil did, or Chuck Dixon did, maybe. But generally not that into it. Definitely not into the modern version. So I'm kind of like, okay. And I don't have Disney Plus, so a lot of the other things that are there, like the only thing that was really in the announcements that interested me was What If Season 2, but I haven't even seen What If Season 1 yet. So I'm more concerned about when is Disney going to put the DVD out for What If Season 1. That's what I'm more concerned about than what they're doing on streaming personally. Mm-hmm. Our next question, multiple parties ask, are you going to have an online auction or sale for the holidays this year? And are you going to make any store or convention appearances before the end of the year? There will be an online auction sale some point here later this month and early into December. As far as a store appearance, I don't know yet. I will talk with some people about that locally here in the Columbia area. As far as conventions, unfortunately, the only one I was really interested in possibly going to was already full, and they didn't have space, so not really planning anything for that. So if if things change and I get in December at the one comic shop or one of the two comic shops I'm thinking about, I'll let you guys know. But for now, just the sale online eventually, later this month. Paul asks, what do you think happened with the recent cyber attack against Diamond, and what do you think it means for comics distribution moving forward? He went on to elaborate on that question. Here's the thing. Diamond typically ships the books out so that they arrive in the comic shops on Tuesday, the prior week on Thursday. Their servers weren't attacked until Thursday night, from my understanding. So everything should have already been shipped out by the time this cyber attack happened. So we should not have had delays this week, as far as I'm concerned, based on historical reference. That being said, maybe things are taking a little bit longer, Diamond, these days because of COVID. They don't have as many people working on staff in the warehouses, so maybe it hit them, and when it hit them, they didn't have the orders to know what the orders were to fill, so they couldn't fill them. But as for what happened, who knows? Just some random ransomware type of attack that happens to companies all the time, and it's just their turn, I guess. What does it mean for comics distribution moving forward? Not a whole heck of a lot. Diamond's had a long history of having delays on books, shipping, even in the best of times. As much as people think it's a big deal that there's Lunar and there's Penguin Random House and stuff, you got to remember the entire back of the catalog, all the indies is still Diamond and not at Penguin, not at Lunar. And so, if you're like me and you don't care what Marvel and DC are doing for the most part, you're still SOL, basically. That's why I didn't have any books this week, more or less. So, unless we get a new distributor or Penguin Random House or Lunar start doing things correctly, which they aren't yet, and start being more inclusive to everybody, or we get a new distributor, since Diamond doesn't want to be inclusive to everybody anyway, I don't really see where anything's going to be changing all that much. Steve B asks, why is it you don't seem to share the same sentiments as other comics professionals when it comes to the future of Marvel and DC Comics? In other words, Van Sciver, Shane Davis, and other Comicsgate guys, among other people. Partly because I've already expressed those sentiments ages ago when they were the stars. And so now that they're saying it because they're not the favored sons and daughters, it's like, I'm sorry, you were just replaced. That's the way it is. Just like you replaced the generation that came before you. So I don't share their sentiments in that regard. I don't see where DC or Marvel is really going to be hurting with or without them in that respect, because there are other equitable talents available for Marvel and DC to employ. It's just a matter of them finding that talent, developing them, and properly marketing them to the public. So as far as that goes, that's where I don't share the same sentiments. Now, as far as the market being more than Diamond, the market being more than the big two, the gatekeeping aspects of the industry, yeah, that's there. But I've been saying that for all my career. So again, it's not like I'm not sharing the sentiment. It's that they're late to the party in that regard. And a lot of it is reflective of their personal experience, which is just basically recent sour grapes for them after having most of them having well-rounded, lengthy careers. Whereas I've always been the guy that's kind of been on underfoot, so to speak. So I don't like hearing them whine in that respect. If they were a little bit more historically accurate and talked about things when how things were going on when they were there and when these practices were all taking place under their watch, to their own, and that they participated in it and had a little more. I don't want to say regrets, but at least acknowledgement of it and awareness of it, then maybe I'd change my feelings towards them in that regard. Next question. Anonymous asks, are you a member of any professional comic groups on Facebook? Yes, I am. But those are private those are private Facebook groups. It's not like I can say, hey, join this group and watch what I say over there. Yeah, I'm a member of some artist groups. I'm a member of some editor groups on Facebook as well. But like I said, those are for veteran professionals, invite only. And I know, and it's not really my place to invite someone who I don't really know. This person who asked me was not anyone I knew personally and didn't know their work or anything to say, well, yeah, this person belongs in the group. So, and I'm not a moderator or anybody like that who has that kind of authority anyway. I don't want that kind of authority in a Facebook group. Another anonymous question. Have you seen The Eternals? And if so, what are your thoughts? I haven't seen it. I'm not really interested in seeing it. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie by any means. It's just that with superhero movies, movies in general, I tend to want to go only if my friends want to go. And no one's expressed really any interest in seeing The Eternals. I think a lot of us are burnt out on just too many Marvel movies. Too many comic book movies in general. Kind of want to take a break from it. And this film doesn't really grab anybody and say, yeah, watch me, watch this, the way some of the other Marvel films in the past have. So I'll probably see it, when it's on DVD or something down the road, but I'm in no rush. But again, I'm also not dismissing it as a bad film or anything like that. I just, I'll see it when I see it. And Debbie, finally, Debbie from Michigan asks, if you were going to do a Marvel live action or animated TV series for Disney Plus, what property that hasn't been used would you take and why? Oh, Lord, that's a heck of a question, Debbie. Wow. That's hard. There's so many characters that have actually been used in the Marvel TV and in the Marvel cinematic universe. And darn. Maybe a Starjammers TV series, or a movie, maybe for live action. As long as I don't, as long as it's the Starjammers and not necessarily connected to the X-Men per se. I mean, the X-Men can have some association later on into this show, but I'd rather have it where it's about Corsair meeting the rest of the Starjammers and being the ragtag pirate crew, rebellion against the the Shi'ar Empire ruled by Deathbird while they're protecting Lilandra, who's in exile or something. That would be maybe what I would do there. Animated, something I'd want to show on that's animated. Wow. That's a tough one. That really is tough. Question, Debbie. Maybe a Man-Thing animated series. Darker, more horror-oriented series with Man-Thing, I suppose, would be cool. Get I don't know who we get to design all the artwork for it, because you want to do something cool, but you want to do something that's relatively easy to replicate and animate. That would be something I would consider as Man-Thing. If not Man-Thing, maybe a Werewolf by Night series. So, and that could work either way, live action or animated. And that would probably run along the same vibe as classic TV shows like The Fugitive, or The Hulk. Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby Hulk TV show. You could do the same type of plot structure of Jack Russell or whoever the werewolf is going to be. Roaming while he's being hunted or whatever, and having adventures. But those are like the three things maybe off the top of my head, possible. But it's not like I'm really looking for that. But it'd be, if the right people sat down with me and we collaborated on some stuff, it's always possible. And that was our last question of the day. So if you have questions, you can email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QTR Q&A. Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and talk about some crowdfunding. All right. We're going to start with The Accursed. This is a Kickstarter project from Mark Fenton. And it's got 28 days ago. It just started. It's got 115 of its $1,000 goal. It's got 9 backers. It's about an interesting little storyline. But let's go ahead and of course, now this is not the best video I've seen. I wish that they'd said something, had the creator talking about it more. But, videos are what they are. Again, this is kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Something is Killing the Children type storyline. The Starkings family line has always held the balance between supernatural and humanity. Each generation daughter inherits the mantle and heightens senses of strength at the age of 18. It isn't until a hedge which curses the next door in line to not age past her current preteen status. After being cursed and seeing her parents killed, Olivia Starking sets off with her brother Jeremy to break the curse and maintain the balance her family has sworn to uphold. If you enjoy Buffy or Harry Potter wrapped up with Kill Bill, then the book might be of interest to you. Always punch Nazis? No, always punch vampires. It's an interesting looking color there. I don't know if it's watercolor or marker or what. I don't know if this is going to be black and white or full color yet, because there's sides, there's color and there's black and white here, so who knows. But it's writer Mark Fenton, artist David Kamikaze, I guess that's how he pronounces it, with letters by Hector Negrete. The main cover is 10. There's a knock. There's 1, 2, 3 different covers. The main cover, which I'm assuming is a physical copy of this vampire piece here, which they say it's a Batman homage. Yeah, him punching Guy Gardner in the face from Justice League, of course. This says knockout cover, homage to Spider-Man covers by Chris Bacalo. I don't see it, but okay, it's not a physical copy for $10. And then the Star Wars cover, which is the best cover I see, of course, is the $15 one, of course. But it's covered by Victor Santos. Looks nice. Then there's a T-shirt and comic combo, so you can get the T-shirt and the comic and a T-shirt. Let's see if the T-shirts. They don't really show the T-shirt on here. I wish they did. Just as your very own cursed T-shirt, they should show that. The fan bundle. Get you a shirt, a pin, a sticker, a physical copy of issue number 1 for $50, and then there's a retailer package for $250, which I think is really a little bit high. 50 copies is a bit much as well. Most retailers are not going to be ordering that many copies to promote your book as a small press indie. That should be like no more than 25 copies and probably should be about $100 or more for the retailers, so that they can make a profit on the books. I don't know. That one's a little bit weird. Then there's a retailer package for $350 where you can get your own exclusive cover and store logo, and that's reasonable price to do that, because that's a different print run, and it's limited to however many copies you're getting for the print run, and that would have to be a heck of a retailer to back that and believe in that. I wish Mark would do a little more talking about that, and Mark has asked people about where we should come talk to people online, so I'll probably get a hold of him and bring him on the show and talk about some of this a little bit more. It's got 28 days left to go. It's got a potential to reach $1,000 goal. I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with what I'm seeing here. It's got a nice independent comic type vibe, but I need to see a little more discussion on the book and things going on here, I think. But let's see what the fact says. If they've got there's not any frequently asked questions yet, so there really isn't anything else to say on this one for now. I've got it bookmarked, so at least I think I did. Let's just make sure I do. All right, it's bookmarked. We'll come back and revisit this one. Okay. Our next one is the Oswald Chronicles by J.D. Calderon. It's volume 1 trade paperback. This has got 4 days left to go. It's surpassed its $1,500 goal, so it will be made. Got 61 backers for a little over 2,600, as you just saw it went up a little bit there. Always nice to see that live when numbers go up like that. Let's take a look at this.
What's up, my fellow Oswaldians? This is J.D. Calderon, the writer and creator of the Oswald Chronicles, and I'm here today to let you know that in this campaign, for the first time, we're offering the Oswald Chronicles in trade paperback format. This trade has a one-shot origin of Oswald, my first day, where he learns how to read, he learns how to love, and he learns a few things about loss. Also featured in this volume is the first 3 issues of Passing Queens and Making Homes, where we see Oswald befriend Jones and his sister Alicia, two noble-born children on the run from an evil sorceress queen and her cronies. We're also offering up an awesome t-shirt, a hard enamel pin, trading cards, sketch covers. So please, find the level that best suits you and pledge today. Thank you so much for your patronage. JD out.
Okay. This is a trade paperback collecting My First Day, Passing Queens and Making Homes, issues 1 through 3. So you're talking about 4 issues into one book. Oswald's a mouse that is different from the rest of his kind because he can speak and think rationally. He befriends a young girl named Sally who teaches him how to read. Sally, unfortunately, is dying from a mysterious illness, source of which only Oswald discovers, which is a group of goblins feeding on the girl's life force. Can a lone mouse, even one as intelligent as Oswald, put an end to the rapacious thirst of such monsters? And then continuing the Oswald saga, after his battle with the goblin shrubling Sally, he wanders the streets of New York and bumps into Alicia and her brother Jones, 2 young kobolds who are doing their best to avoid capture from a group of orcs led by their double-dealing leader, Guillaume. Guillaume and his orcs manage to capture the 2 fleeing siblings, but not before Oswald is given a secret treasure by the children, a gem of great mystical might that Oswald can somehow manipulate to suit his needs. Trinket in paw, he sets off in pursuit of the children to prevent the orcs that captured them for their queen from claiming the bounty offered for their return. So this is kind of a fantasy, modern world fantasy type stuff. They got 61 backers, so the stuff, the early bird package is already gone. You can get a t-shirt. T-shirt looks pretty cool. There's a hard enamel pin. Whatever their stretch goals are. There's 2 that are unlocked. They're trading cards, I guess. So there's 2 trading cards you're going to get that are unlocked so far, and then I guess the third one's still locked, but it isn't because it was 2,500. That's over 2,500, so that one's unlocked as well. So you got 3 trading cards minimum so far. You can also get add-ons, PDFs from him. Ego Raven and Tall Tales. My guess is that you might be able to get some of these in print as well. If you go to Indie Planet and look them up, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to see if I can get JD on here and ask him. But let's take a look at some of that artwork. It's all black and white, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I don't think anybody should. As long as it's well crafted and well defined, and it seems to be. Some people might not like the lettering, because the lettering looks pretty basic anime photoshopped text. I'm trying to think what it is here. Hold on a minute. What is it called? Anime Ace? Yeah, Anime Ace 2.0. That's kind of what it looks like in a way as the font, but other than that, I'm pretty sure a lot would prefer a different lettering font, but it looks readable. Has a kind of a anime look going on. Overall, just really interesting to look at. Yeah, this is something I might actually back. Let's see what their pledging is. Okay, for chap level, then you get the pro story. Okay, for $30, you get the graphic novel collection, a chapbook of the Oswald's Chronicles of Return of Dream, which is a prose fiction story, and PDFs of all the books that were offered above and the other. For $40, you get an ultimate PDF, which gives you a bunch of stuff here, because there's a lot of Oswald Chronicles. It's not just this little bit here. Just a lot of stuff going on with that. 50 or more. There's just a lot of stuff here. I'm not really sure. I'm going to definitely have to get a hold of JD and get some clarification on some of these pledge offerings. But it looks really interesting. So it's got 4 days left to go. It has surpassed its pledge goal, so it will get filled. So that looks pretty cool. And I'll probably check that out and probably give it an order. All right. Let's see what else we got. We'll be returning. Whoops, pardon me. To our Room 101. As you can see, I already pledged that one. But let's see. There's 45 hours to go. There's less than 2 days. They just surpassed their $2,500 goal yesterday. They're a little over 2,600. They got 52 backers. Let's see what it is.
Most of my life I've felt alone, but not here. I suppose living next to a cemetery, your neighbours are always close. It is peaceful and quiet, but not lonely. In fact, since my first visit amongst these graves, I've felt a presence, a calmness that fills the air and surrounds me like a gentle morning mist. That's how I know he's there. It's a feeling of being watched from afar. I wait in silence as well, until we meet.
Okay. For those of you who don't remember, this is the second book of the Grimm 101 series. Both of them are prose fiction with illustrations inside. It's about a Grimm, which is kind of sort of a spirit that's trapped in between the two worlds of our reality and the afterlife, I guess. And he's stuck in the cemetery, and he's supposed to be there. When you go to the cemetery and you kind of feel this kind of weighing down upon yourself, or sadness, or moroseness, that's what a Grimm is supposed to do. He's not very good at his job. He actually makes people happier and makes them laugh and stuff like that instead. So he's kind of stuck in there. And the female is the woman he's noticed, who lives right next to the cemetery, as she said. And then this book is the story going on from her perspective and how she discovers Jim the Grimm in the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And again, this is Gwen's memoir on her experiences of living next to the enchanted cemetery. And it's kind of cool. I got the basic soft cover edition, which is the soft cover here with this cover. There is a hard cover that's a green leather bound edition. Book one was a red leather bound edition. Again, you can get the Mortician bundle that gets you both the first and second books. The Gravedigger bundle gets you both hardcovers. Of course, these also get you all your unlocked stretch goals. His retailer bundle is $50 for 5 copies and 5 prints to go combined, and that's reasonable because the book's $10, so or $12 or $15, I think, otherwise. So it's not bad. Make a little bit of profit on the retailer thing, and of course, the retailers also get all the unlocked stretch goals as well. So there's like, if there's any additional posters, trading cards, keychains, whatever it is that he's added, you'll get that as well as the retailer bundle. There are different things as well here. You can also get the Albino Zulu issues from his other comic series. You can also get Retrieve second printings for issues 1 and 2, and a limited edition Grimm figure, which he paints each figure individually. So there's a lot of cool stuff to get. I backed it with getting the early bird soft cover, and I bought the figurine to be painted as well. So that's why my cost is $112 instead of $12 plus shipping. But there's a lot of really cool stuff here, and lots of cool things. There's 9 limited edition back-ons for buying book 2 with original artwork. So you get the original pages of art from the book for $200 plus the book. You get 2 covers. You get 2 4x5x6 original art pieces from the book, the soft cover and the unlocked stretch goals. So there's a lot of really interesting things you can get here. One thing you can't get is the Grave Digger bundle in print, which is book cover 1 and 2 in hardcovers. That's already sold out with 4 backers. Apparently, I thought there was more than that, but I guess he didn't have any more hardcovers of number 1. Maybe it could be. But again, there is 45 hours to go. Ted's a great guy. Give it a shot. That's one of the better ones I can recommend for this week. And we'll move on to the next one, which is Stray, Volume 3, Requiem, Issue 1 by Vito Del Sante. And just so you understand, you guys have seen those link boxes on some of those things. Those are the links that are in the description below the video so that you can go to their Kickstarter pages and look them up and check them out yourself. There's 11 days to go. We got 127 backers. They're at $4,700 out of a $7,500 goal, so they're about 60% fulfilled. This will be closing in let's see, about 12 days. So 11 days, okay. For those who don't know, Stray, it's his creator-owned character, the Rottweiler, and Rottweiler is the Doberman, and it's about this former sidekick of the Doberman known as the Rottweiler, and he returns to avenge the death of his father and mentor and reintroduces himself to the superhero community at large. No longer a sidekick, he chooses the new moniker Stray and begins to forge his own path forward. That's what you got. That was his first book from Action Lab. And then they did some Actionverse stuff where he teams up with Midnight Tiger and Maui Danger. They fought off the Hyena. Then they did the Rottweiler years in the Actionverse as well. And then we got Requiem, which is the events of the last volume, Pax Mundi, at the command of Colonel Jacob Warhorse Pierce. Pax Mundi's been instructed to hunt the Stray down, apprehend him, and make him fall in line. And this is what it's about, more or less. Artwork is good. Lettering's all right. The artwork is by Marcelo Mueller. Again, Marcelo's a pretty good artist. I'm pretty cool with this one. I don't know what all they got for offer, for sure. Let's see what we got here. For $10, you get the copy of the book. For $15, you can get a different cover. All right. For $30, you get 5 copies of the retailer special, so they can make a little bit of profit on that. All right. a lot of their stuff, $40 more. You get all the digital stuff from the past to give the history there. Let's see. Yeah, everything is digital. Unfortunately. They do have a figurine. We get the hand-painted Sam figure. There's going to be 333 of those. Or no, there's going to be 15 of those, and there's only 4 left. So you get his robot dog there. Again, there's a lot of digital because the books are kind of tied up a little bit with Action Lab, and I don't know what all he would have the rights to or not have the rights to. But it's interesting that they've decided to go with Volume 3 and offered everything in the digital, at least, so that you can at least read the history of the character if you want. I don't know. I'm going to have to get a hold of Vito and ask him about what his what the legal status is of what he can and can't reprint, because of what Action Lab is really confusing for a lot of people on the rights and stuff like that. They haven't been the best company, I'm sorry to say. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, so because everybody's case is different. So I'd rather talk to Vito and see what he has to say about it. But there's 11 days left. So hopefully next week I can get Vito on the show and we can talk about it. But I have read the Stray series when it was from Action Lab. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I do recommend it. Okay. Our final crowdfund discussion for tonight is Kids and Monsters from Indiegogo. This is by Adam Lawson. There's 21 days left. They've surpassed their fixed goal. We've shown this a little bit before. This is about the kids who have monsters living in their backpacks, and they kind of have to go fight each other and stuff. It'll be kind of an interesting book. I haven't figured out what I'm getting yet. Somebody actually bought the figurine for $950 for one. I mean, there's only one of them. It's one of a kind, but $950 was high for me. You can get a backpack with the book. You can get just the monster backpack. You can get both graphic novels, color and black and white. There's an ash can that you can get. And then there's the graphic novel, which is $25. So there's quite a bit of stuff there. And of course, you get the digital format for $20. You can get a T-shirt, a book in the ash can for $65. There's 10 claimed. I'm probably going to get that if I haven't already backed. I didn't back this one yet. No, I didn't. This is possibly what I'll back. I am following it. So there's 21 days left, though, so I got some time to think about it. Again, there's some of the artwork for it. Let me go back here and do a little bit tighter shot up.
started seeing the cracks just after Mom and Dad began fighting. They were thin as pencils at first. Then they got bigger. And things started to disappear. Beasts are pouring out of them. Beasts trying to rip the world in two. Just like my family is being ripped in half by my parents. But we're not alone. There are keys shaped like backpacks hidden in the world within. They hold monsters for those willing to fight. Here, monsters are not the things to be afraid of or embrace. Monsters are the ones who are going to save us.
And there you go. So that will also be something I'll be checking out a little bit later in the month, getting probably. And that covers our crowdfunding discussion for tonight. Mm-hmm. We do have a little bit more to discuss before we head out the door. Mm-hmm. And that is a couple of reviews. Like I said, didn't get a whole lot this week due to the diamond situation. But in the mail, I did get a few things, and I won't be able to talk about them too much because I haven't had a chance to read them yet. But we'll talk about it a little bit. And whoops, didn't want to share. I hate when it doesn't want to do that. Here we go. I got Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll. Publisher Mixtape Comics. This was a Kickstarter. Writer Jeff Douglas Messler and Nicholas Christensen Messler. There's various artists, colorists, and letterers, too many to list on a page. There's 11 stories in this book. It's an anthology spy thriller genre. I received it on November 7th. I haven't had a chance to really read it yet. It's an anthology series of super spy tales from the 1980s with the appropriate soundtracks and fashions of the era. It's mostly written by Jeff Messer with a couple stories by Nicholas Messer. There are 11 stories total featured in the book, and we follow the members of the International Security Foundation, ISF. Sounds like the IMF or Mission Impossible team, as they travel the globe, saving the world from threats domestic and foreign. My first impressions, and I'm saying first impressions because I haven't gotten around to reading it. I'm going to do a full review of this next week. It's a collection of stories of comics both in color and in black and white, and there's also some prose fiction stories with illustrations. It's an interesting mix of styles and structure. I didn't see anything that I would consider immediately off-putting in terms of the artwork. Messer, that is Jeff, who was the curator of the book and wrote most of the stories. He selected a pretty solid crew of artists to illustrate these stories. I thought it interesting that writer, artist, film director Kevin Van Hook illustrated one of these stories. If he likes this concept well enough to draw one of the stories, perhaps he and Messer will consider developing a TV series pitch for this concept down the road. This was a Kickstarter project, so I got some mini prints, bookmarks, trading cards, stickers, and other goodies with it. The only minor quibble I have so far is that it's a shame that they covered up the Joan Jett album with the cover logo of Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll. But I will review the full book next week. In the meantime, let's just take a quick look. Here is the book. It's fairly thick. Oops, still that one. Back cover has a Star Wars motif there. There's a list of all the stories that you can see, the contents. There's 11 stories there. The art's pretty decent. Yes, his finger is a gun. This takes place in 85, so it's like right in the middle of the 80s. Next storyline. call him Cowboy. And it's a different artist for that storyline, but pretty cool still looking overall. Another one for another story and character, Euro. Now there are some, this is a mature reader's book. There is some nudity. I think you can kind of sort of toughen the cover there. So, we'll get more into that next week. All the different segments of storylines in here, I think, most of them. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. They do have, there's what it looks like with the Joan Jett cover, more or less, showing. I like that a little bit better. But they do have all the different segments, more or less. Or not all of them, but several of the different segments, I should say. Marked out as mini prints here. There's the back cover again. There's another one that's in black and white. There's the Cowboy cover. And then we're back to that one. So there's quite a few here. It was like 5 or 6 there, but they got some trading cards in there, the same images. Let's see, same images basically. I think they got a couple of other cards in here that are different. Whoops, there we go. And on the back it says Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll. I kind of wish that they had done little info cards on the back instead of just the Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll logo. Like mentioned whose art was whose. Art by so-and-so, or put art by, I'd rather have it on the back than on the front, because on the front it kind of, messes up the image. But if they put, the art by whichever artists there were by on the back of the cards, maybe, and a little bit of a description, that'd have been a little bit cooler, but no big deal. Again, more of the trading cards. That same one that was black and white. In the big print, they did it in color with a little red there on the trading card. There's a signed bookmark. A few other items as well. So that was that. That was kind of cool. Like I said, I'll get talking more about that the rest of the book and the content next week. In the meantime, let's go ahead and review our next book, which I actually did get a chance to read, and that was The Thing from 2021, number 1, Marvel Entertainment Publishing. Let's see. It is a $4.99 book. Sorry about not putting the price on there. I just didn't see it on the covers. It's written by Walter Mosley, art by Tom Riley, with color by Jordi Belair. The lettering is by VC, Joe Sabino. There's 3 alternate covers, Lee Bermejo, Superlog, and Todd Knock. This is the main cover by Tom Riley that you're seeing. The genre is superhero. It was released November 10th. What it's about: a lonely evening and a chance encounter, or is it, sends Ben Grimm embarking on a sojourn that will have him encountering and battling figures both old and new. Ben Grimm, also known as The Thing, arrives home at the Baxter building from a fishing trip to find the rest of the Fantastic Four away on other tasks. He's bored and lonely, so he calls his girlfriend Alicia Masters, but she too is out until the following day. Unbeknownst to Ben, a strange Death Reaper-like entity has been making its way through Manhattan and has possessed a troubled black man obsessed with the starlet. This same entity seems to possess Ben as he goes out for a walk and runs into Alicia with an art curator friend, and he gets jealous and thinks that she's basically cheating on him. The friend, the art curator, shoots Ben in the eyes with pepper spray, which angers him, and he hits a car as he's blinded, which sends the car into a collision with other vehicles. As a result, he is immediately arrested by NYPD and is taken to a holding cell where he is met by Hercules, who apparently was drunk and knocked over a building, so he's in jail too. The jail cell that they're in is made out of vibranium, so it's supposed to hold them without any problems because all their power and strength gets absorbed by the vibranium and knocks them back and all that. But Ben is possessed by this dark entity, so it figures out a way to break out. I don't want to spoil it. It's actually kind of a neat thing. Because they've broken out, the New York Police Department are about to start a fight with Ben when Reed arrives with paperwork to bail him out and place him under house arrest at the Baxter Building. Hercules suspects something is wrong with Ben and that he is possessed in some way, and he tells Reed to keep an eye out on him. And, Reed's not dumb. Hercules saying something like that, okay, maybe we should go visit Dr. Strange. Ben tells him, no, I'm fine. He was just drunk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is the cover I got by Lee Bermejo. It was not my choice per se, although I do like it the best of the covers. This was just what the store gave me, basically. But he says, he tells Reed to forget it. Hercules is drunk, doesn't know what he's talking about. And so Reed takes him back home to the Baxter Building and then leaves to get back to Suez overseas elsewhere. This is a second variant cover by Todd Knock, just a close-up of the headshot there. Alicia arrives at the Baxter Building and breaks up with Ben due to the earlier incident. This emotionally crushes him, and he's heartbroken. He starts to go through his fan mail where he comes across an ad for a dating service. Annoyed by it, he takes a nap where he has visions of death and destruction, and he meets the Death Reaper in his mind. Waking up after this nightmare, he decides to try and get his mind off of everything in a dream encounter by trying a dating service where he is matched with none other than the starlet that the crazy black man from the ghetto in the early part of the story is obsessed with. And guess who shows up to start a fight with Ben when he meets the starlet? You guessed it. What do I think? I've wanted to see Walter Mosley write for DC or Marvel now for years. He's best known as a crime novelist, particularly for his Easy Rollins series. And I knew he was a Fantastic Four fan from when he wrote the forward and afterward to Maximum Fantastic Four a few years back, so I was quite intrigued to see how he was going to approach the characters. Overall, I do think he does a fairly solid job. I think it's quite telling that when Ben does something smart, because he's possessed by a Death Reaper, and the art does infer that, and Hercules suspects something is amiss, Mosley does later remind us that Ben is not stupid. He has 3 master's degrees in mechanical engineering, aviation, and chemistry, and he could very easily be smart enough to recognize and do that without being possessed. He's not the dummy that he often gets portrayed as by other writers. I think this is an important point of plot and characterization because he could think of that way to escape the cell without being possessed. All the Reaper did was make him more focused and darker rather than he's usually so often wasting so much of his time belittling himself for his appearance that he often gets his own qualities that he has. And I think and I hope that Mosley's going to explore that more as the series progresses. I do suspect that some people are going to get annoyed with the scene where Ben describes himself as non-white when he's describing his parameters for the dating service, since we all know that before he was transformed into the thing, he was a white male. And there will no doubt be people who will stupidly think that because Mosley happens to be a black writer, he's trying to change the ethnicity of the character here. That's not what's going on. Ben describes himself as non-white here because of his appearance and how society has mistreated him due to said appearance, which is metaphorical on a multitude of levels of how blacks and Hispanics are mistreated in real life. So psychologically speaking, he is associated with non-white, and he's looking for someone who can relate to him, which would be more likely to be a non-white person, and the fact that he doesn't look normal white by any stretch of the imagination. So this is as valid a scene as we can present it as. and he's not really changing who Ben is. Keep in mind that throughout the history of this character, he's either had blind Alicia as a partner who doesn't care about what he looks like or colors or anything because you can't see, or he dated Sharon Ventura for a time, but that was only after she had mutated into a she-thing herself. He's very sensitive, overly sensitive, in fact, about how he is perceived visually by others. Artistically, this book is, it's okay, I guess. Tom Riley really doesn't do much for me stylistically, but there's nothing wrong with his work in terms of the storytelling. I might question how Ben can use a cell phone by tap touch, as seen in Ben's room. I think that scene should have been Siri calls Alicia. But this is a story that takes place in the past, supposedly. It's a little bit wonky about exactly when the story is taking place here and there. There's a little bit of conflicting visual information here and there. Again, I ended up with the Vermejo cover. I have not seen the Superlog cover. Otherwise, I would share that with you. But there is another variant cover by Superlog as well. Overall, this is a respectable first issue. Again, I'm not entirely keen on Riley's art, but it's not a deterrent to continuing the series. And I do want to see where Mosley is taking us, so I'm going to stick with it. It's recommended for ages 13 and up, and I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars. Let's take a quick look at the book. Again, this is the Lee Bermejo cover. It's a nice painted cover. This is a nice design. Had an eternal ad on the inside. There's the Reaper type character that's kind of just floating around. It's in Brooklyn, actually, at this point. It just kind of floats around, going around, scares people. People think it's a death type entity. He tears up the house, goes up the stairwell. He's looking for a certain person. A female who's possessed with this starlet that's on the wall there. Posters on the wall. And he gets his butt handed to him. And he kind of takes out his heart and then replaces it with something else. It's kind of a weird imagery, but it's kind of cool. And then here's Ben coming home from his fishing trip. And Reed tells him I had to go to Russia with Sue, and Johnny is at a racing event in Arizona. And here's Willie Lumpkin, the Fantastic Four's mailman, bringing him his mail. And here's that scene about touching the phone. I mean, having just broken my phone, I was thinking, Ben can't touch a phone like that and hit a button without crunching the mirror, crunching it. I would think he would just destroy a phone every time he touched one. So, like I said, Siri call Alicia makes more sense, but it's kind of cool. The art's fine. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it visually. It does a nice job for the most part. I don't have a problem with it. There are other artists I would think were better, but as far as what is being presented in the story, it's fine. The next day, she's just walking along with the friend, and he's like, "What is this? What are you doing walking around with my girlfriend?" So it's kind of a weird thing there. Here's his nightmare, which has the In-Betweener. It has Celestials, it has Galactus, and all kinds of weird characters that he's supposedly defeated, and they're all dead. And he's talking to that entity, that Reaper, who takes his heart, turns it into gold type thing, and possesses him, more or less. And then again, like I said, he kind of gets involved. He checks out that dating service, and that's who calls him back as the starlet. And he goes to one of her shows, which is some sort of stage show. I don't think it's burlesque. I just think it's a stage show. And of course, he's smitten by her. And here comes that black dude that's already been possessed by the other evil. And it's really funny because he's just sitting here with this crystal thing on his chain on his neck. And he's got two. He's so big that apparently he wrapped tires around his forearms to use as weapons. This is kind of a weird looking design. But that's what they are. They're tires, 3 tires on each forearm, which means he's a pretty big dude. And they're going to have a throwdown in the next issue. So, pretty cool book overall. Again, 3 out of 5 stars. It's not the best book. It's it's pretty average in a way, but at the same time, it's the first issue of the series. Let's see where it goes. And that pretty much got what I got this week, except while I was writing up the reviews and everything, my mail came today. And from England, we got the short box stuff from Kickstarter. So we're going to do a live opening right here. If I can get this thing to open where it's supposed to. I may have to... here we go. I got it started. There we go. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. Pretty cool opening C3 formal book. Okay. Everything's in nice bubble wrap inside the C3 booklet. Let's see what we got here. This is the short box poster print. Tiger Mahjong. Can you guys? There we go. And that is by Joseph Ruddock. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. There's all kinds of stuff here. Bun's Comfort Food Corner by Chew Nap. Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting to look at. And there's quite a bit of stuff in here. I just got to dig in and get them all out. Oh, boy. They also send you candy from England. This is called a Curly Whirly. I've never heard of it. I don't know what it is, but it's from Cadbury. Anybody know what a Curly Whirly is? Let me know. I can't eat them. I'm diabetic, so I'm probably just going to trash, but that's no big deal. I See a Night by Julia Vicente. Mm-hmm. I hope this is the English version. Yes. Because there was supposed to be 2 versions of this. One was in English and one wasn't. I want to make sure I gave you the English version because I can't read French. I think it was French that was supposed to be in. There's Temple from Jack T. Cole. This is Moving by Louis Yang, I believe. Forgive me. Yeah, I think it's what it says. Louis Yang. I would have preferred, you can barely read his name signature in this area right here. You see what I'm saying? It's very rough. And then on the inside cover, the print is so small at the bottom. Now that I got a camera on it, I can read it. Barely. I wish they'd printed that a little bit bigger so I could read it. But other than that, that's fine. The Path of the Night, which is a process zine. This might have to do with the... yes, this is a... 8-page version of Icyanite and some of the sketches and designs and stuff like that from Icyanite's little process zine that goes with that book. That's cool. Let's see what else we got. We got all kinds of cool stuff here. It's called Gristle. If I can get it out of the plastic here. Doesn't want to come out. I don't know how they got it in. Very carefully. And it got a little dinged because of the way I put it in. Should have put it in the other way. It might not have gotten dinged. Not too bad. I mean, I can fix it. All right. This is Gristle by Lily Blakely. Again, all that stuff in one box. Quite a bit of stuff there. Let me see real quick if I can look up. Yes. Okay. Let's see. That's the update. What's the campaign? For £35, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, the processing, and the print for £35. That would be, oh geez, what is that in American? Say $47. $47 for 6-7 items total. That's not bad. And you know, so I really can't complain about that. So that was good. And I'll have to read all these over the weekend, along with that Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll. And we'll review on that stuff on Monday, folks. So that'll do it. Pretty cool stuff I got this week. And again, we'll talk about the stuff that I haven't had a chance to read yet on Monday. Tomorrow, is our weekend movie or TV talk. And our discussion will be the, I think it's the Netflix series, if I'm not mistaken. a Stars miniseries. It's a Stars miniseries called Counterpart, and this is season 1. It stars J.K. Simmons as the lead character. It's an espionage science fiction spy thriller where he discovers that there are other dimensions that his organization is defending, but the only one who really he can trust is his counterpart from the other dimension. So that'll be an interesting discussion. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that to do, again, Quoth the Raven, nevermore. We'll see you next week, or actually tomorrow. But we'll see you next time. How about that? Thanks for watching, as always. If you have questions, or you like this video, and you think others might, hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get support from my channel. Get content from my channel, I should say. As always, I thank you for watching and for your support. If you want to reach out to me on social media, I'm on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, on Twitter at LewisBrightRaven2. You can see my artwork at DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brightraven, exclusively on YouTube. If you have questions, comments, want to make suggestions on topics for future episodes, you want to commission artwork, Quoth the Raven LBR72@gmail.com is the address to reach out to me at. If I don't get back to you within, say, 24 to 48 hours, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. As the shirt said, Quoth the Raven, nevermore. See you next time. Have a good night.